So I suppose we should just start. Well, I want to start on Saturday, day of the wedding, but kind of circle back to like everything leading up to it. But just get the day of the wedding like knocked out, because that's like obviously the meat and bones of today's update. So, I mean, I guess to preface the morning, we wake up at like 5:15 to knocking on the door at 5:20 of the hairstylist.
Yeah, she was the hairstylist and the makeup artist.
Yeah, and then I had to get dressed and all just to, be presentable for that. But just long story short, the tip of the day, even if you go to bed at 2:30, this guy, wake up as early as possible and try to be as up as long as possible. Because I woke up at like 5:15 and we didn't go to bed until like 4 a.m. the next day.
Yeah.
And I feel like we got a 2-for-1 deal of a day, because we literally got 2 days out of one. So that's a huge pro tip for your wedding day. Try to stay up for 20 plus hours, because talk about time slowing down. If you get 2 days in one, it felt pretty long. I have no regrets.
Yeah. It felt long, but it was really good. We got to really take in every moment and enjoy everyone's company, and it was really good.
Yeah, so I leave. Well, I hang out with you guys a little bit, but then I leave once I'm like, okay, I probably should go to my own room. We woke up in one suite together, saw each other in the morning, and then I go to a second suite that we booked so that I can get ready and stuff.
Which
so I go
happened to be like just downstairs, basically, from where we were getting ready.
Yeah, our suite was here, and then it was downstairs one level, and then just one room over. So that was pretty good. We heard you. You guys popped champagne, and we heard you. And we were trying to yell. Did you hear us?
No, I couldn't hear you guys.
Yeah. Well, anyways, I go to my room at like 7, because that's when I told Matt, or maybe a little bit earlier than that. And I was kind of by myself for a little bit, and then Matt comes, but...
So what were you doing when you were by yourself? Were you just like decompressing or what?
Yeah, I was decompressing and then just thinking about the day. I think I was trying to write. This is what I was going to write. I wanted to do some Bible study, but I just ended up meditating, just sitting in silence instead. Until Matt comes in. And then shortly after, well, actually, Carson and Kylie were already there. They were already, they dropped off the bagels and stuff pretty early. And then they left for a little bit, and then Matt came in, and Carson came. And then Yosh. But it was chill. It was just like us just chilling until people start funneling in, showing up. Some people already ready, which was a smart move, so you can just chill. If I were to do it again, I probably would have just got ready as soon as possible. Oh, yeah. When I showed up by myself, I showered first, but no one was there. So I showered first before people started showing up. And then, we got ready with an hour to spare, but I think I would have given myself more time if I were to do it all over again. Because there was crunch time, according to the schedule.
Yeah. Well, the girls kind of derailed that schedule with us getting ready. was the hair and makeup, man. It took forever.
Well, yeah, the guys were prompt. At least me and Matt. You had the guys waiting in the Sprinter van for like an hour.
Man, you should have given him drinks or something. Keep him busy.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. But you got me and Matt just standing outside for like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And I have some video of me just like pacing and stuff. We didn't know what to do. Like, and I'm just like, I can't look at the freaking hotel, so I'm just looking
at the water.
Or looking down.
I guess Giada could have updated you guys more to let you guys know that we were running late. But it was like a madhouse in the girls' suite. Like, at first it was like super chill, you know, like a slow trickle of the girls. And then, you know, we popped the bottle. We had like a little mimosa. You know, Giada was already getting her hair and makeup done. Some of the girls were already getting their hair done. That was pretty quick. And then I guess like it probably would have helped if like I would have had the girls starting to get dressed sooner maybe too. Because we kind of like all waited until we were done with hair and makeup and then we all got dressed together at the same time. And it was like crunch time. But we also got pictures. Did the guys get any pictures?
No. Not really. Maybe. I think we got some video.
Okay.
Definitely video of me getting my tie on and whatever, looking out the window for the video.
Okay, cool.
But I don't know what, I was just getting ready. I don't know what the videographer was doing. He probably pulled out the old school camera a little bit. Hopefully he did. But if he didn't, whatever.
Yeah.
But no pictures. The photographer never came.
Oh. So I think I think she focused on the girls then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what those look like. See. I'm excited to get the video and the pictures.
Yeah. Well, I think the video and pictures will take about just knowing the whole process of how that goes. It takes long.
Yeah. Maybe when we get back from our honeymoon.
Maybe.
That'll be a treat.
Yeah.
Bring us back.
It should be the next update. That'll be the next time we can do this, recapping the honeymoon. But anyways, so I mean, it was a major relief after we did the vows. Like, I was yelling and everything, top of my lungs, and people were fishing over there, and what the heck is going on?
You were yelling?
Yeah, remember I was like, woo!
Oh, yeah.
Like, quite a few times. And then, put two and two together as a back-to-back person with a suit on and a freaking white dress.
Yeah.
Kind of figure out what's going on. And then you leave. But after that, and then getting to the church before, well before we had to be there, 11:50. Like, I think we got there 11:15.
Yeah.
You guys got there shortly after. From there, it was easy.
Yeah. Well, honestly, I think also I'm still impressed that when we were going to do the private vow exchange, we did that at the hotel where, a lot of our guests were staying. So one of my concerns was some of the guests accidentally running into me and seeing me in the wedding dress before the ceremony. But it worked out because there's no one in the lobby the whole time. And we were you guys were waiting for a while, but then when we were ready, we came in there, we were in the lobby, and then the photographer and videographer, they were like, oh wait, don't come out yet. And they had to I guess get ready on their end. So then we were waiting for a little bit. Not too long though, maybe 5 minutes or 10 minutes, I don't know.
It felt long because
yeah.
It was uncertainty. I knew what was going on. He was getting the stickers for my mic to hide it inside my jacket. and they couldn't find it. But that 5 minutes felt like forever because uncertainty was like, okay, when is this 5 minutes going to end? Is it
Yeah.
going to be 10? We got to go. I kept on freaking pacing my watch.
Yeah, I saw you. I saw you. I was like, me and Kiara were spying on you. I'm like, oh, look at him. And you're doing the little, when you can't sit still and you kind of shift thingy. You were doing that.
Because I had to pee too.
Yeah, it looked like your pee waddle. That's what it looked like.
No, I mean, eventually I held it, but I had to pee for a little bit there.
Yeah.
But that was fine. Yeah, getting to the church, finally just waiting there. That was like when it got real, and then real chill. Started seeing my dad, parents, relatives coming in. We're in separate rooms of the church. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but how many people... Well, I know now a handful of guys that did the same thing because we were in his room for a while. But not many people can say that they pooped in the priest's bathroom.
You pooped in the priest's bathroom?
Yeah, I'm glad I did because like I thought I didn't have to, and then yeah, TMI. But yeah.
Well, and so when we were at the church, you mentioned that you got to do like a private confession.
Yeah, that was sick. That was a good idea. That was Carson's idea, and I'm like, I don't know. Father Ricky's like running all over the place, and then I just asked him. He's like, yeah, let's go. And I'm like, let's go. And then that was like the best thing because like starting anew, starting fresh. I wanted to tell him go over to get you, but like
it would have been hard.
You.
Yeah.
The confession room was right next to the guy's room, and then your room was all the way. You can't like. Yeah. I don't know if he was gonna do it like face to face like that.
Someone would have seen me. Yeah, going across like that. Yeah.
But at least one of us did, and that is important.
Yeah, that's good.
I mean, we already did confession like.
We went
a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, a couple weeks before the wedding.
Yeah.
Yeah, we both went.
But yeah, that was fresh, and then yeah, just going through the motions, lining up, hugging all the guys at the front as they were coming down, and then Father had me face the altar as you were coming down, so I'm the only one not seeing you come down until the last minute. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that hit me like, ooh. Well, one, I was like, who is that? So much makeup. Jeez. Like freaking like an inch of makeup on you.
Oh my gosh.
It was like, what? Who are you? So.
Well, I think we both know you prefer me without makeup. I think that we know that now.
You never wear makeup. It's like if I put makeup on or something, it's like, what the heck are you doing? Like,
yeah.
I'm not used to it.
Yeah.
And when you do, it's not that much.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the whole ceremony was long, but like, it was definitely what's up. Like, I could feel how long it was, but then like, it was all worth it. Like,
yeah.
It was like, it didn't go, what I'm trying to say, it didn't go by fast.
Yeah.
Soaked in everything of it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, it was a beautiful ceremony. We were able to do some of our more traditional things with, some of the Latin songs that we were able to pick. That was really cool. The organist was great. The singer, the cantor, she was great. Has like angelic voice. It was just, everything came together perfectly. And, Father Ricky with, the scripture that he chose for us, and the homily. That was really good.
Yeah, the gospel he chose for us was the story of Jesus telling the commandment of love thy neighbor as your friend. But it wasn't.
It was more than that, though.
It was more. It was love. It was treat your friends right.
Just love one another, basically.
Love one another. Yeah.
Love one another.
It was that.
Yeah.
And that was, that was a good surprise because he didn't tell us prior of which gospel he wanted to pick. But we picked the first reading, the second reading. Those were pretty good.
Yeah.
And then I don't know. We wrap up there. We take a whole bunch of pictures. Well, before that, like how did you feel throughout? Like, what are your feelings throughout the whole ceremony?
Well, for me, like, it was, everything was going so fast, but then what helped slow it down was once we were settled in the church when we first got there, Kylie and we did a prayer together, and that was really special, and it brought me more like into the moment of like what was about to happen, and gratitude, and just feeling the Holy Spirit present with us. And so that was a really good moment, like before everything. So then, when Javier and I were about to walk out, and I'm like, oh man, I can see the people, and I'm like, man, this is real, like we're doing this. And as I start going down the aisle, I'm like, oh my God, I know they got some ugly crying pictures of me because I started ugly crying and I just couldn't help it. And I was like, okay, you got to bring it together. Messed up my makeup a little bit. I'm sure that was probably when it got messed up, but that's okay. So, but it was just more so just like the overwhelming sense of like just all the love and support that we had that day. We have in our lives, and seeing everyone there and how excited they were and happy. And so that brought some tears to my eyes. But then I saw you and I was like, you're looking good up there. And yeah, it was just, I was excited. And then,
Yeah, it hit me. There's like three things that hit me the most. Like the first time seeing you, I was about to cry. I'm surprised I didn't. And then the very end, after they presented us as Mr. and Mrs. and seeing everyone cheer. You can see on the some of the videos that we have, I like look up and then I just like hide my face into you. And I'm like, yeah, that's when I was about to cry. And then the third part, which kind of slows time down too, the third part was making it intentional to look where we were at, because it was brand new territory. We're right here at the altar. There's like all these little details that I wanted to take in, and doing all that, doing stuff that is new to you should slow time down because you're processing it in a whole different way. And so I was noticing like the candles, I was noticing like there's an in memoriam plaque like behind the altar, like built in memory of or whatever. I couldn't figure it out. And then like just noticing the details of the priest's chair and how close we are to everything else. Just like that, all of those little details slowed time down.
Yeah.
But then the major one was this, when we got our rings finally, and then the best surprise was the special engraving that I don't need to say. I think this is just for us.
Yeah.
But I mean, just having our rings was huge. It's like so heavy now, freaking left hand. But no, it was, yeah. To slow time down even more, do things that are new to you, like you were a kid with all curiosity. The more curiosity you have, the less routine that you have, I've been told, helps time slow down. And that would be my second tip to slowing down that day. So wake up, stay up for 20 plus hours, and then just do new things and just stop planning and worrying about things.
Well, that's my biggest tip, is just don't sweat the small stuff the day of. Because I think that really helped both of us enjoy the wedding and not be stressed really the day of. Because I was just like, whatever happens, happens. We made it to this day, this joyful day. And we're going to enjoy it no matter what. So.
I don't know. I forgot that, now this transition from church to hanging out at the reception, you were supposed to do a wardrobe change here at home.
Yeah.
And then we're supposed to get dropped off pretty quick. And I don't have my keys or my phone or my wallet or anything because everyone took all the stuff away from me. And we're at home without keys, can't get in. Now we're stressing. Go back to the hotel. It's 20 minutes away. Can't find the keys, can't find the car. People are preparing a surprise that we didn't know about and stressing us even more out.
Yeah.
That, where's my keys? Where's my car? Let's get this show going again. And lo and behold, I feel guilty at the end of it for being so mad at everybody because they've been preparing the vehicle with markings of just married and everything.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Well, but that's what I thought too. But then I think that was done already in the morning. Kylie and Carson and Megan did that in the morning. Yeah. But regardless, yeah, in that moment when I saw that too, I was like, oh,
yeah,
we were so in a tissy.
Well, going from tissy to, wow, this is a nice surprise. It's like, oh man, why are we pissed? Why are we even stressing right now?
Yeah.
But, well, tip number 3 would be to have a Catholic wedding or have a ceremony in the morning so that you have a huge gap to the reception. Because some people, like my mom, we only had 4 hours on a boat, ceremony and reception.
Yeah.
By the time we were done, we're like, what? That's it?
Yeah.
But having a 2-hour ceremony and then a 2-hour gap and then 5 hours of a reception. 1, you're pooped. 2, it's okay, now what's next? Because it was 10 p.m.
Yeah.
Night's still super young. We stayed up until 4 a.m. And
well, I don't think many people have an after party to the party and then an after party to the after party.
A lot of people do. Keep the night going. You don't end the night at midnight. Well, some people do, but
yeah.
But just talking with everybody even more.
It was great. I feel like, one of my things I was like, oh, I wish we would have been able to do more is in my head, I guess I thought we would have had enough time at the reception to do the whole stopping at each table to do rounds kind of thing. And we only got to 3 tables before we got pulled away. I'd have to do something else. And so we didn't quite get to talk to everyone individually. But I feel like we interacted with the vast majority of everyone, whether it was on the dance floor or, at the photo booth or, what have you. Or even I think it worked out at the after party too, the people that I didn't really get to talk too much during the ceremony, during the reception. Was able to, talk to them more at the after party. And then, yeah, I think that was really good.
Yeah. I mean, you can only do so much. That was the intent, was to go around the tables, but then I forgot how much people want to talk. And then after the second table, I'm like, oh, we're not going to get anywhere. Let's just move on. And then the MC pulls us for the shoe game.
Yeah.
Shoe game's clutch. That was good. MC's clutch.
Well, the MC was
good.
great. It felt like wild, like between. I don't know if I felt like I was like at a football game or like halftime show or what. But he was really good. He was really energetic and upbeat, and he did get the crowd going. Like he was very interactive the whole time.
Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah. I mean, from there, I think we just got lucky with the venue. We got lucky with all these things. I mean, leading up to the wedding, there's all this uncertainty, vendors changing locations on us last minute, vendors lagging on communication, all these things that we can point to vendors for the problems. But really, like, is it really the vendor's problem, or is it your problem? Just like, maybe you just got to give them some slack. Because at the end of the day, they all killed it. But you don't know that.
Yeah, well, because
Planning
you're having
these
to
things.
put all your trust into these people, these strangers that you don't know, and you're just hoping that they're good for their word, and that's it. You know, but going back to what you're saying, you know, that was another thing during the, not just for the wedding day, but for the planning process, is I learned quickly how to give grace to a lot of these vendors throughout the planning process. Because when it comes to planning, I'm a bit type A. Like, I like things done a certain way. I like it done in a timely manner, you know, that sort of thing. So, and I have trouble with delegation typically when I'm planning something myself. So ordinarily, all those little hiccups probably would have really bothered me, like my old self. But I feel like that's one thing too that I think has benefited me of getting back into the faith, is it reminds me to not be so hypercritical of others and to just give grace. You know, I mean, had some crazy stuff happen, you know, like my wedding dress all of a sudden was moved an hour away from me without me knowing it, you know, last minute. Makeup artist, like, struggling to get me in for the trial. I ended up also having to cancel once, and she ended up having to cancel a couple times. There's a lot of moving pieces.
Well, yeah. What can you do?
But it all worked out.
Yeah.
It all worked out in the end.
It does work out. 1, 2, like, type A, type B thing. I mean, I thought I was always type A before, but I'm becoming more lenient with things, and I think that's a huge lesson that Jesus teaches by showing, not telling.
Mm-hmm.
Especially like The Chosen. It's a good freaking show
Mm-hmm.
to learn these things from, because you can't read the Bible and then like see the mannerisms that they're trying to show in the Bible, like of the micro details. But
Mm-hmm.
that's also a thing. Like, there's not too many micro details in the Bible that, well, I'm only in chapter 1, but
Section 1, not chapter 1.
section 1, yeah. But micro details, macro details. We have a plan. We had all our things already, but there's only so much you can control. And in Jesus' teachings, it's just like you can only control your plan. And Jesus' plan all along was to rise from the dead. Going from point A to point B was his goal, and everything in between is just gonna fall through or fall into place.
Yeah.
But the end goal was to just get married, and throughout the process, like, you hinged on some of these micro details till the end, but proud to say you let go of a lot too.
Mm-hmm.
Which was the goal. My goal was to let go of everything.
Well, yeah, that's not realistic. I mean, I feel like I was a good bride. I was not a bridezilla.
Yeah, but like if we just let go, like,
No, things
Like the
wouldn't have gotten
trees.
done. Things would not have gotten done if we would have let go all the way. You have to
Not
have
all the way,
You have
but,
to
like-
still be willing to take the rein a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, you got to keep your people on track a little bit. You can't just willy-nilly the whole thing. But yeah.
By the end of it, I was like, all right, let's just get married. I don't really care about everything else.
Yeah.
And then decorations, like all the decorations just appeared. Like
Yeah, that was
you
with
planned it.
us planning it. If it were up to you, you would have walked into an empty ballroom.
It would have been fine with lights and everything. The trees came out of nowhere. That wasn't planned.
Yeah, that wasn't planned, but that was
Big
good plus.
overhanging white trees, like cherry blossom trees. That
Yeah.
was crazy.
Yeah, that was nice.
That was crazy. Yeah, that was a great touch.
Yeah.
Things just happen for a reason and perfectly, because
Yeah.
although we were late, like, hour late, we showed up just in time for grand entrance.
Yeah.
Even though we wanted to show up hanging out at cocktail hour to hang out with the peoples, but didn't happen because of the keys, the wardrobe change, mostly the keys. We lost
Yeah.
like an hour going back and forth.
Yeah.
So that sucked. But other than that, get to the reception and everything, just having fun from there.
Yeah. Oh, another pro tip. I'm glad your parents rented the vans last minute, because you need coordinated transportation for your wedding party. Like, things would have been a hot mess express. We would have been like running around trying to make sure everyone's leaving at the same time in separate vehicles and coordinating all that. I'm thankful we didn't have to do that, because I already saw that coming from a mile away, that is what was going to happen if we didn't have a vehicle, like, for everyone, or some sort of transportation situation. So shout out to Mama B for being on the same page as me and thinking about these things.
Yeah. What can you do? The initial plan was to Uber everywhere, but yeah. Last minute, Sprinter vans, 2 of them, not too bad of a plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, the rest is history. Let's talk about spiritual warfare.
All right, we're getting into it, huh?
Yeah. Like,
Okay.
let's talk about just like the couple days, leading up to it. Well, it was like Monday or Tuesday. I had, I had a pretty bad dream that I was cheating on you with my buddies, which was more vivid than most of my dreams, because like typically I don't remember I haven't remembered the last few dreams. Usually they're your fears, or like, either God coming in, tell you something, or the enemy trying to steer you some way, or something stupid. Like, I think just last night, the only part of my dream I remember was my ring. Looking down at it, it was all scuffed. Like, it wasn't gold shiny. It was like rock, like scratched all over, like dull gold. I'm like, really? It's been just like a week. What the heck? Like, that annoys me. It doesn't scare me, but it's just like, really? Like, come on. What am I gonna do now? But that's all I remember. But yeah, how vivid like cheating on you or leading up to cheating on you it's terrible. It's a terrible feeling.
Yeah.
You had a bad dream also that
Yeah.
same night?
Yeah, so I think it was either that same night or the fall. No, I think it was that same night. In my dream, you were arguing with one of our really good friends who is like also a practicing Catholic. Like, we're very close to him and his wife, and you were like going back and forth with him. He was going back and forth with you. And I remember in the dream, I was like worried that it was going to be affecting like the friendship moving forward. And there's just a lot of chaos in the dream.
Which I think these are, one, could be the enemy, but two, what I was reading or listening to today in a different podcast, it could be like your greatest challenges that God actually presents to you. Not that I'll ever cheat on you, or not that, I'll ever yell at my friend to the point where it breaks down the relationship. But it's like, what do we do with that information? Maybe it's God's challenge to say, hey, don't overthink this. I'm going to throw this at you, but let's see how you react. If you react well, then you're going to level up. If you don't, then I'm going to leave you at the point where you're at in your life. Because I think I was just listening, it was the George Janko show. Mm-hmm. And they were talking about like life's trials and tribulations at each stage in your life, or like how you get from this stage in your life to this stage in your life. Well, you can try your hardest by yourself. The point of their conversation was to have God to get from point A to point B. Mm-hmm. But God will never let you go from point A to point B, and he'll keep you at point A until you're ready to get to point B. Mm-hmm. And maybe it's not what it taught me today was. Maybe it's not always the enemy that throws us these things, like the story of Job. God allows suffering sometimes. Why? We don't know, but God knows. Mm-hmm. So it could be him throwing these ideas, because I would never cheat on you, and I would never yell at Carson like to the point where we're gonna like ruin our relationship. But something to think about, one, and two, yeah, Job, why? Like, he asked why for so many years. Why am I suffering? Why have I lost all of my good influence when I have done nothing wrong? Mm-hmm. Why do we have these weird thoughts? Mm-hmm. It could be God sometimes. I don't know. I still have to learn a little bit more about that.
Yeah. But
spiritual warfare is real. So what's the next? What's the next thing? Thursday.
So, dinner. Yeah, so Thursday we go to dinner, and we're like with family and friends, and I'm on one side of the table, you're on the other side of the table, and I'm sitting on this side with like my godmother, my grandma, my mom, and then me, my cousins across from me. And so my godmother wants to give a toast. She gives a toast dedicated to me in particular. And then as soon as she's done with the toast, my grandma's glass just like falls over towards my mom and just shatters on the table. And so we were all like, what just happened, I was like, oh, maybe she dropped it or something. But then we see that my grandma, she gets really emotional, and she starts, like tearing up and goes into prayer automatically. And so she basically, after the fact, we asked her, what happened, what's going on. And she said that she felt that as she was reaching for her glass, something pulled the glass away from her and toppled it over. And she said that the feeling that she felt in that moment was like the feeling that you feel when a loved one is in the hospital and you just got news that they're going to survive.
What about the shard? Do you want to talk about the shard? That was a good clip. Clip that. But no, we don't have to talk about the shard if you don't want to.
And so
And then a shard appears in her butt.
and then and then so the glass, it fell towards my mom, and my mom was sitting. So basically it was like my grandma was at the head of the table, then it was my mom, and then me over here. The glass fell this way, like towards my mom's area, and for some reason none of the glass went towards my mom. But as we're talking, whatever, that just happened. And so my family, they're a little superstitious, and so they're like, oh well, whatever bad energy was going around, or bad juju, like it's been broken, And so we're moving on with the conversation, and then I felt something sharp poke me in my rear end, and lo and behold, it was a piece of glass, a skinny piece of glass. And so I was like, okay, that's really weird. And so, I like get rid of that. And
well, later we find out that there was a bunch of blood on your liner.
Yeah, so
but not on your underwear.
Yeah.
And then I was searching for a freaking scab wound, but there's no wound, no scab, no nothing.
Yeah.
And there was enough blood on your liner that was like, okay, there should be a scab, because this wasn't a substantial amount of blood, but it was enough to be like, okay, maybe like a half a nail's worth, half or a quarter nail's worth, pinky nail, I would say.
About the amount of my pinky nail. I have tiny pinky nails, but yeah.
I don't know if that was big.
Yeah, it was like that much.
Half of mine. All right. Anyways.
Yeah, but that was weird, I
think it's all weird.
So after, the piece of glass poked me in the butt, then, even more reason that my family was like, oh, well, whatever it was directed to you. Whatever was broken, whatever bad juju, whatever. So I was like, I don't know. I don't really get into it too much with that stuff. I try not to, at least, just because, I feel like it's a thin line, and if you think like that, I don't know what doors you open. So, but it was very strange. And for my grandma to have that reaction was very strange, because she also is like me. She doesn't like to open doors where they shouldn't be open, so to speak. So she really does. She's not as superstitious as the rest of my family. So for her to say she felt that in that moment, I was like, oh wow, like that's pretty wild.
Well, in these moments, I mean, how it could be worse, it could be bad, it could be not as bad, but like at the end of the day, just you focus on God and nothing else. That's also something that George was mentioning today in the podcast I was listening to. It's like, I think it was a different person's actually, but this guy is a music artist, and he's seen a lot of miracles happen in front of him that he would have to iterate to, if reiterated, then he could be perceived as crazy. And I think all of these stories, yeah, we will be perceived as crazy. Especially our other moments that, lead up to it, whether it be spiritual warfare or like different chapters in our lives where I tell stories about my encounters with spirits, whether I know it's God or not, might be under debate. Some stories we know is God, some stories we don't. But at the end of the day, we focus on God. Everything else will just fall into place.
Yeah.
So with that, I mean, spiritual moments leading up to the wedding, I don't know. That was just kind of the weirdest one.
That was the weirdest one.
We had a special encounter, serendipitous moment. This had to be God. I don't know. If not God, then it's great serendipity. But my buddies come into the bar like at 10 p.m. We're finished at other bar, and we have to walk, from bar closed to bar open, and lo and behold, we crossed paths right there. Didn't even know they were going to be there. So that was fun. But yeah, I mean, leading up to the wedding or after, or, what else happened?
I mean, leading up to the wedding, that was the weirdest thing, really. After the wedding, there was like another moment that definitely felt like spiritual warfare. So when we were at the restaurant and, what happened over there. So basically, we went out to eat with the rest of the family that was still left in town after the wedding. And so we went to dinner, and, the guys are sitting at one table, girls at another table. And, at the girls' table was all my family members. And we're just enjoying the moment, celebrating the moment. It was one of our family friends' birthdays as well that day. So, trying to honor that in addition to our recent wedding. So, two of my family members, they start, just kind of going back and forth and talking about the wedding. And then it kind of just escalated from there to the point where one of my family members sounded like they may have called another family member something bad. Although...
Enemy.
Yeah, called him the enemy. Although, after talking to that person, they just didn't get to say the full phrase, which for anyone who's a Spanish speaker, you know that when you talk in Spanish, it's very drawn out. There's a lot of details. So, the first part of the phrase that came out just didn't sound good, and they weren't able to finish the rest of it before the person who was receiving the message got offended, stood up and threw their napkin at that person's face, went off on them, stormed out of the restaurant. So, I mean, these two people, like their mother and daughter, they've never gone to argument of this nature before. The daughter's never disrespected the mother on this level of throwing something at her, much less in a public, situation like we were. So it was very odd, and just you could feel the negative energy building up as they were going back and forth. So immediately after that happened, I felt the need to lead us in prayer. And I prayed over my family, because my family is very tight-knit. We're very close to each other. There's no such thing really as extended family members in my family. So knowing that, of course, we all know the enemy does not like love and unity and togetherness, right? So I just felt like there's a lot of negativity there. So, I led us in prayer, and, I got emotional a little bit during the prayer, and so did, other people that were sitting at the table. I looked over, and, other people were also tearful a little bit after the prayer. And, reflecting too on how did that moment escalate to that point, because it went from like 0 to 100 really quick. Like at first we were all like, oh, okay, they're just bickering, whatever. And then it just like, went off the wall like that. But leading up to it, one thing that I noticed is that they both started swearing on God in the situation. And you can just feel the energy shift even more once they did that too. So
it's like someone took over, what they were trying to say, and just, sometimes things don't come out the way you want it to. And in the heat of the moment, obviously that's you, but reflecting on it, you always regret it. If you're a man or woman of God, you always regret that. And you never want to cast a curse on anybody. Whether you know it or not, you never want to do it. That's baptized in Christ, no matter what denomination you're from, you don't do that.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, also reacting to all that, it could have gone better or worse too. It's like, what if you didn't do a prayer? What if you didn't do this? What if you didn't unite these people? Would people take sides? But like, prayer brings people together, no matter, like, again, no matter what denomination you're from.
Mm-hmm.
And so, that's important. That was really important. Because there was no guy at that table to help you guys lead into good spirituality. Which is crazy, because like, we're one table over, we're talking loud too, your guys are talking, we had no idea what the heck was going on.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden someone stands up, storms out, it's like, what happened? Like, we're having a good time day after the wedding, like, you know, there's no issues here.
Yeah.
What the heck happened? And even after that, I'm like, okay, like, what do we do? Make a big deal? I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe we could have done better at that, or addressing some things there, but...
Well, I mean, in the end, it all worked out because, you know, I was able to be there for the mom that was affected, and we were all like, you know, just... We let her know that, yes, you know, what she said, it did come off wrong because she wasn't able to complete her statement. So she already knew, okay, I have to correct that. I have to make sure my daughter is aware that that's not the full statement. And so she acknowledged that she was in the wrong on that front. But and then also we were able to just, you know, just also keep reminding her, like, it's okay, you guys just need to communicate after this and, you know, mend the situation. And after the situation, you know, like the next day, I reached out to the daughter in the situation and was able to touch base with her and kind of hear her side of the story and what was going on and whatnot. And, you know, I only know up to what the mom told me from her perspective. So, you know, I did just gently, you know, let her know that she should talk to her mom to get the full story, because there was more to what she was trying to say. It came out the wrong way. And so some more days passed, but as of now, you know, they've been able to, since then, talk to each other, and they've apologized and reconciled with one another. So I think we're good, but there's definitely a lot more healing to be done in that relationship.
Yeah, that's so key, though, like reconciliation. And that's a big part, top of mind of what I've learned today. Well, of what the first encounter of the Bibles I've read today was the first time reconciliation has come up, and it's so important to put that out there, because if no one knows that you're sorry or you forgive, you can't move forward.
Mm-hmm.
And even if you don't know where the relationship is going, you know, there might be some fear or anger still bottled up somewhere between those two people. At least you have a new or a refreshed outlook, at least for the time being, instead of keeping it locked away.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, you don't really need to be religious to know what reconciliation and apologies and stuff are, but like...
Yeah. I mean...
It needs to happen.
Yeah, from a non-religious perspective, just take accountability for your actions. Humble yourself to be willing to acknowledge when you're wrong. And that just helps to move forward with relationships in general. So, yeah.
Yeah, easier said than done, for sure.
No, for sure. You got to put your ego aside.
Yeah.
You know, that's a big thing.
And it still sucks in our shoes too. We're not perfect. I'm definitely not. I still don't know how we got here.
By the grace of God.
Actually, how I got this ring, such a heavy ring. But yeah.
Yeah.
Spiritual warfare. Define it. I don't know how to really define it, but it's really anything that disgruntles our faith, or that...
Your peace. Anything that disturbs your peace.
Yeah.
Like that.
I think so.
I think is, you know.
And it could be, you know, as some might say, this is pretty... What do you call? These issues might be a little bit low-hanging fruit. There's bigger issues that we should be, you know, praying for, but any little thing counts.
Mm-hmm.
Like the two stories that I'm learning about right now is the story of Job, who's just suffering for no reason and just asking God why, asking his friends why. And then on the other hand, you got Jacob and his family witnessing the start of Israel kill each other and rape each other. It's like, shoot, those are like one's really like, okay, get over yourself, be a man, and like be a man, take accountability of whatever you did. God is treating you as such. Job says, no, I didn't do anything. And that's also tough to deal with. Like simple trials like we're talking about. Or you got like really devastating trials. Like, okay, like this is really bad. Let's actually pray for this. Let's actually pray for the world.
Yeah.
But there's only so much you can do. I mean, sitting from our shoes, trying to pray for people. That's all. There's only so much you can do. So, as little as, you know, praying for people that are struggling and wrestling with God to find purpose versus people with physical problems, they're both very important. And I just don't want to lose sight of that when talking about these kinds of things. But yeah, it's a good place to unpack all these.
Yep.
I don't know. There's better spiritual moments out there, like Jonah moment. What's a Jonah moment?
Jonah moment is a reminder that God is with us. It's what it means for us. So, Jonah moment. I'm going to butcher this story because I should have just jotted it down when it happened, because I feel like as time goes on, the more it's like fading away. But basically, I was starting to question things that I was learning in the Bible and, you know, what have you. And, you know, anytime I'm questioning something, I like to look things up and try to find the answers to everything. And, you know, that's tough when you're studying the Bible because there's not going to be an answer to everything. But I was having a question. So then, you know, I went to bed and then...
Well, you were questioning God for multiple days at that point, and...
Well, it wasn't even... You like to call it questioning God, but I wasn't questioning God in and of itself. It's just I was questioning the teachings in the Bible, and like things weren't making sense to me. So that's what I was questioning. But
But it was a real frustration too. Like it wasn't just like
Yeah.
a questioning exercise, because we always question something, but you were like frustrated, like the teachings. Okay, if God's like this, well, one, like some stupid things, like one, how if God's like this, how do we only live 80 years old, and back then people are living like 500 years old?
Yeah.
Or like two, like if God's so great, why are we mentioning rape and incest and all these things in the Bible? It's like, okay, I gotta nail down, I gotta research this even more than the Bible. But really,
Yeah, I
the
guess.
teaching, the
Yeah.
takeaway from all that it didn't hit home properly that week. I'm just pointing out from my perspective.
Yeah, I think that's been more your perspective. I don't remember quite what it was. So sorry, I can't really disclose what it was that I was questioning, because I really don't remember, and I don't want to misspeak on what I was questioning. But it was something. And so, point being, I went to sleep, and I ended up, having a dream that night. And in the dream, I remember hearing the name Jonah multiple times, as though like I need to remember that name. So the next morning I woke up, and I told you, I was like, hey, I don't know what this means, but I dreamt about Jonah, the name Jonah. We're in the middle of getting ready for the day. Like, you're just like, yeah, okay, whatever. And like, didn't pay any mind. And I was like, all right, well, whatever. So, we go to work, we do our thing. And then I get home that evening, and I was still struggling with that same question that I hadn't found an answer to. So then I looked it up, and as I'm trying to look up the answer to what I was questioning, a verse from Jonah came up. And so I was like, oh, this is weird. This is the name I was dreaming about. Because like up until that point, like, I mean, we don't know anyone named Jonah. I haven't met anyone named Jonah. The only Jonah I know is the celebrity, what is it, Jonah Hill, the actor.
Yeah.
That's the only Jonah that I know in my head. But I mean, so very random. So then I click on it and I read the verse, and basically it was a message that God was just saying to have faith in him. Long story short. So I was like, okay. So I like shared that with you. And in that moment, to me, I was still so like hyper focused on, but that doesn't answer my question thing, that, I didn't really acknowledge the moment too much. But
yeah, I mean, you kind of in the moment. Now talking about the story, it's not as impactful, but in the moment it was like, aha, this is it. And then you're like, well, all right. Maybe some silence passes, and then you're like, oh, look at this Amazon book. This guy goes into great detail of what Jonah was actually speaking of. And this guy is like saying all these things. I'm like, wait, no, let's go back to the freaking message and actually just let it simmer a little bit. God sent you this message in your dream to get to this point, and to let you know that all you really need is faith.
yeah.
All you really need is to belong. Well, we learn this later, that all he really wants us is to belong to him, and us to belong to him, and him to belong to us. The first step is faith. Take the leap of faith. Well, the question isn't why. The question is how big, when. Mm-hmm. But the questions usually aren't why with God.
But I think also it's worth noting, it goes back to, that God knows us better than we know ourselves. He knew us even before we were conceived. And it's proof, because in that moment, how would he have known that I was going to keep digging to the point of asking that particular question to that particular forum to then be led to Jonah. You know what I mean? So he already has the game plan, you know, like he knows us. He knows how we are. He knows our tendencies. He knows who we are as individuals. So I'm sure he knows that when I'm questioning things, it's not from a ill intent. It's not from like, you know, like a, oh, I don't believe in God perspective, because he knows that I do believe in him. I'm just a very curious person, and I'm a very, like, I like facts. I like truth. You know, that's why I'm a STEM person, you know, like I work in a STEM career field, you know?
Yeah, but at the time I was
I just think that's cool to know, you know, like, isn't it cool that even despite your questioning, God still knows you and he's still going to continue to lead you and guide you to where you need to be in that moment, you know?
Yeah. Well, at the time, as in your frustration, I was always so frustrated too. It's just like, just let it rest for a little bit. Just let the research rest, because you were just like, there's a point where you do too much research and too much overthinking that you lose the actual purpose of the messages that God sends us. And I think in those moments we just like both had to just look at each other. It's just like, let's just sit on this. Mm-hmm. That's all you need for this week. Mm-hmm. That's all we need.
Yeah. Which I'm glad in that moment you were able to kind of reel it back to have us acknowledge the moment, because yeah, that's needed too. It's all about balance, you know, like just.
But the why questions come from a framework of curiosity and learning more, and maybe less faith than if you just believe and take the leap. The why questions are, why are you leaping? But the faith is just let's just go. Let's just leap anyways. Mm-hmm. And
yeah,
this looks different in every different situation that we go through, but that was one of those situations where I had to put my foot down. This is where we stop researching.
Yeah.
And put a bookmark in our life in this moment that we call Jonah moments, because I mean, just one of my stories of one of those moments comes from when I was in college, not walking with God, still walking in the dark by myself. And one weekend, I had roommates. One weekend, I get home from class, my roommates are gone, and I lost my keys. Mm-hmm. And I freak out because, you know, every good kid or bad kid is just going to freak out about everything's ruined, my life is ruined, this is my fault. It's just starting cursing at God, cursing at blaming others, whatever. So I skate back to campus and I'm searching everywhere. It's like a freaking 5 square mile campus. It could be anywhere, you know, 2 miles from my doorstep to my classroom where I was at the time. And in defeat, I just sit down on the grass with my skateboard, and I have no other tools in my toolbox but to pray. And I'm just like, I don't know what I'm doing here, God. I know I'm a bad person, but I'm just praying here. Just show me a sign. And I had my eyes closed, head down, done with prayer. And I look up, and I'm looking at an electrical box, and there's a sparkle. There's lights all over, you know, it's next to a baseball field. I see this sparkle, I'm like, no way. Could it be? No. I get up, go check it out. There's my keys. So, from then, I still don't walk with God, but I like telling that story to anyone that doesn't. Huh?
You just said you don't walk with God.
No, from then, I still didn't walk from God, walk with God.
Okay, yeah.
From then, I'm like, thanks, God, see ya. I'm gonna do my own thing in my life again. Like,
yeah.
I walk with God now.
Yeah.
That was a long time between college.
Yeah.
What was that? I was probably like 22. I'm 33.
Yeah.
Now just getting back into the faith. I mean, I don't know when we stopped walking with God, but it's well before high school.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever we stopped going to church with our parents.
Well, I think we had different
at least
paths.
For me,
Yeah.
I stopped going
Yeah.
to church with my parents. But at some point, you stopped going to church with your parents.
Well, yeah, but also I have a very different navigation to where I am now
Yeah.
than you do. I did a lot of soul searching and I was trying to find God, but I was trying to find him in the wrong places, going to a bunch of different religions and churches and, trying to find him. And really, he was right where I started all along, in the Catholic faith. So.
Yeah, talk about that a little bit more.
Yeah.
What?
Well, that can be for another podcast.
Okay, sure. It is a good ending point, but I'm curious now. We'll leave the little cliffhanger, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, whole roundabout back to the marriage. Yes. It's been good. Mm-hmm. It's been peaceful. And I don't know, my next rabbit hole and cliffhanger that I'll leave everyone with is I'm going to be researching more on why the Catholic faith is always under attack. And I mean, yeah, there's bad Catholics, there's good Catholics. That's the easy answer because, not just nowadays, but back when Luther also steered away from the Catholic faith, it gets political and that sucks. But, there's great priests and everything. There's great people in every religion. And pride gets in the way. Different historic events get in the way. But I can't reiterate any of them, so that's my next steps of my learning and also doing the Bible in the year this year. Mm-hmm. You are too. Mm-hmm. I'm going to do 2-a-days, so I might catch up with you really quick. I already caught up with myself on the days that we missed between the wedding when we stopped. We were doing all these things in the wedding and then, a couple days ago after the wedding. Mm-hmm. So 2-a-days should help propel all that. Mm-hmm. And then just reflecting on those on here and documenting a little bit.
Yep.
You're doing your Bible in the year in the car.
Yeah, I'm doing mine. I'm like on close to day 90 at this point. It's been really good. Yeah, it's been really good. I know they just released the new commentary for Bible in a Year podcast, so I haven't listened to that yet, but
it was only the first
what?
The first five
for
the 5-year anniversary.
Oh, okay.
So the first 5 episodes, you do that for the 5-year.
Okay. I still got to listen to that, but yeah, I've been learning a lot. It's interesting how even in the Bible, history repeats itself. You'll notice that as you go along as well.
Yeah,
but
everything can be reflected to present time. So, all right. Well, we'll go do all that. We'll go on our honeymoon. And just like last episode, we're only 2 episodes in. Good job. I don't know when we're going to post these, but it should be fun.
Yeah.
We got a honeymoon to go through, and then maybe we'll have other crazy stories about that.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm still recuperating from the wedding weekend, honestly.
Yeah. If we're gonna do this, we need a better seating situation because my left leg is getting sore from this position.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for tuning in. See you.